we do our usual yoga mudra, cobra with Noik Asana, which is also our boat posture, and then we'll finish with Diga Pranam. Now, a little bit about the tummy. Some confusion, some questions have been coming up about how is it that yoga affects the different parts of the body? I mean, the different emotions, and why do we say that emotions are stored inside the body? So I'll just go through that again quickly with you, and I'll explain why the tummy stores throughout the body. Yes, they impact our mind, our thinking, but they come from different parts of the body. So for example, the pancreas and the adrenal glands, they're not up here, they're down here. So if we're able to start to regulate this area of the body, it means that we're being secreted. Say, for example, if you're able to manage your breathing, you're an athlete, then that means that you may be able to endure or go longer in your running or swimming. So a lot of, and the same with dancers and so on, a lot of effort is put into learning how to breathe when we do physical activity. So in the same way, when we're doing yoga, we're learning not only how to breathe, but also how to think in a way that's going to help the different glands and the different organs of the body to secrete hormones in a way that's helpful to our computer. We send the right messages through our body. So, for example, a lot of people got very frightened during coronavirus because there was a lot of information on the news that it's a pandemic and that it affects people in this way, and that if you get it, you're going to end up in hospital, on a ventilator, and so on and so on. And then when we start to peel back behind the news, then what we start to find out is that it's less than 80% of people catch it, and that those people who do catch it, who end up on a ventilator in hospital, are something like 2%, if that, and the number of people who die from it is a certain percent, and so on. It doesn't mean it's not a dangerous thing that we don't be careful of, but what was happening is people at home were watching all of this news and kids were getting frightened. And it sets up a sort of fight or flight thing inside the body, which may or may not be necessary when you're at home and you're washing your hands and you're keeping your environment clean. It may not be necessary to be feeling in a state of perpetual anxiety, for example. So that area of fear is concentrated in the Manipura or the tummy area of the body, and it's activated by cortisol, which sits on top of our kidneys, which is the adrenal glands. They're sitting on top of the kidneys. They're two little special pieces of, of tissue and organs. So what we're doing when we're doing yoga is we're putting pressure onto those areas by either stretching back onto the adrenal glands or bending forward and stretching the adrenal glands. And as we do that, we do most of our postures. We're either holding still for up to 3 minutes or more often than that, especially working in the tummy area, where 8 counts of holding a position and then releasing. And then we breathe in fresh oxygen, fresh air into those glands, and then we again hold the position, often putting pressure on those glands, so that helps to squeeze toxins and suspend movement. And then when we release, it opens up again, and then the glands start to get their own rhythm. So in the same way that an athlete regulates their breathing to regulate their heartbeat, to help them to get longer stamina, we regulate our movement so that we can regulate the vibration or the movement of the glands, so that when it's time to secrete hormones, our mind has a chance to say, just a minute, I don't need to be afraid right now, for example. That may be what's being reported, but let me put my rational mind into action here. Is this likely to happen to me and my family? Let me research this and see. The situation in Italy, what's the background, for example, when Italy was taking off and a lot of people were getting sick. So that's rationality, is to be able to study, to research, to pause before the information just floods our body and think, okay, let me find out about this. What's the best way forward? How can I behave in a way that's not causing further anxiety and so on? So that's all to do with the Manipura chakra. Fear is there, Also the feelings of infatuation, like a strong feeling of wanting to own things and acquire things, comes from this part of the body. Also, an anger lives in here. It's called kashaya. Kashaya is like an angry peevishness, that we get irritable, we feel hatred at times, and envy and sadism all sit in the Manipura chakra. There's also inside here a sense of shyness. We feel shy from this part of the, and so we'll feel a sense of shame also wakes up here, that I'm feeling envious, but I don't want somebody to know, so we'll hide it. Or I feel hatred towards this action or this person's behavior, but I don't want them to know, so I'll try to cover it up. Duplicity happens more in the Anahat chakra, but it starts down here with the feeling of shame. And also melancholy, sadness occurs here. So we feel I'm going to lose something. I feel so unhappy about that. I'm afraid of losing things. And so we start to hang on to things, which is another tendency called Trishna, or the longing to accumulate and desire to hang on to stuff. So this is all Manipura chakra. And when we look at how this part of the body works, we do have a desire here to store. This is where we store our food, in this area. So we do have a tendency to hang on to things here. And also this is the area that gives energy and heat to the body. So it's a good place for anger and fear to be activated, because you need energy and heat if you're getting frightened and you've got to run away. So it works nicely in terms of the emotions that arise in the tummy. It works nicely with yogic practices, that these are exactly the same emotions that you'd want your stomach to have. You know, if I didn't like accumulating, I wouldn't want to eat. You know, I'd just be all the time like, no, thanks very much. I don't want any food. But because the tummy has the desire to take stuff into it, then it wakes up with this feeling, I'm hungry. Well, that's the Manipura chakra. And psychically, we can feel like that. I need more, you know, I need more, even knowledge. But that's more, again, coming higher chakras. But the desire for material acquisition or food comes from this part of the body. And so does envy. And so on and so on. So this is how the Manipura chakra works. This is why yoga helps us to be able to regulate those emotions. It doesn't stop us feeling hungry or envious or fearful. What it does is it allows us to be able to measure those feelings and thinking, okay, I'm hungry right now. Do I have to, you know, stop on the side? Do I have to stop my work or whatever to go and get food? No. Into something else. Okay, I'm really hungry. Maybe I can use that energy to finish my work, or to be creative, you know, with that sort of burning desire to do or have something. Maybe I can create with that rather than act on it and stuff it down or whatever. So we start to learn how to understand our emotions, understand the feelings, and then slowly begin to channel them into more positive behaviors and reactions. So I hope that's made that clear for you. Yes, yoga is very closely related to hormones and extremely closely related to emotions. And what we're trying to do is come out of, also to apply rationality. So learn to move from the sentimental areas into the more rational parts of the body. The Anahat chakra has discrimination, and the Vishuddha chakra has the ability to think about ideas and values and to decide whether something's worth keeping or it's a dogma, throw it away. So we're on the move when we're doing yoga towards higher and more subtle ways of thinking. Let's begin. So hands behind the back and legs are crossed. And what we're doing is we're catching our left wrist with our right hand. This is the first yoga practice that's good for a warm-up. It activates many parts of the body. It stretches the adrenals and it puts pressure on the liver, on the pancreas, on the gallbladder, on the spleen. So breathing in and breathing out. Exhale, forward and down, and hold. And breathe in and coming up. Now, another thing, just briefly, I'm chatty today. Just briefly, a lot of people are saying, but I can't do it. I can only go this far. I'll never be able to do it. Okay, here's the trick with yoga. It doesn't matter if you can go this far. I've been doing it for a long time. So my joints have become looser over time, and yours will also. But that's not the point. The point is whether or not I'm sitting like this or I'm sitting like this, I'm still putting pressure, especially to my own body. I'm putting pressure or stretching the adrenal glands and putting pressure on the liver. So it doesn't matter if you're able to do very, very hugely flexible things or you're only able to do a little bit. It's just like trust the process. It's still having the same hormonal effect, which is what we're wanting. They're innercises. What we're wanting is to be able to innercise the glands of the body. So we'll do this 8 times. We've just done it once, and we do it without stopping. So to help you get further forward, lift up and out and across, and that will lift you out of your joints, and that will help you to be able to stretch further forward rather than thinking head on the floor. Think I'm stretching across the room, and that will help you get a longer back as well and a longer stretch on the adrenals. Okay, so here we go. Breathing in and breathing out. And if it's any consolation, when I started, I couldn't do this. It hurt, and I just had to do a little bit at a time. Hold for 8 counts. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in, come up. When I first started doing yoga, although I was a dancer, so I had a certain amount of flexibility, I had very poor turnout in the hips and in the knees. So I couldn't get down anywhere near the ground when I started this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And breathe in and come up. And it was a little bit humiliating. But anyway, I just kept doing it until I got to the stage where I could touch the ground. Takes about 2 months. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in, come up. If you're very stiff, it does. It takes a few months. If you're more flexible, it takes a couple of days or a week or 2. Breathe out, forward, down, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in, come up. But the point is just to do it every single day rather than once a week. Breathing out, forward and down, hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So small, regular yoga practice is more beneficial than one long class a week. And best is if you do both. Do a nice long class for a good stretch and regular every day. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in, come up. So if you want to learn how to do a 15 to 20 minute practice every day, on Saturday, I run through the basic postures. Breathing out, forward and down, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in and come up. Beautiful. And straight away we'll go down into Cobra or Bhujang Asana, as it's said in Sanskrit. So I'll move this little one forward a bit so you can see my face. And that should do the trick. Hands down under your shoulders. Face towards the mat, chin on the mat. Breathe out fully. And when you breathe in, lifting up, looking to the top of the head and hold. For 8 counts. And breathe out, come forward and down. And again, breathing in, come up. And looking to the top of the head, hold. And breathing out, forward and down. Breathe in, come up and hold. Breathe out and down. And hold. And breathe out, forward and down. Breathing in and hold. Exhale. Inhale and hold. Exhale. We have 2 more times. Inhale. Fully inhale and hold. Exhale, forward and down. And last time. Breathing in, coming up and hold. And exhale, coming down. So then we're going to Noak Asana, which means to grab your ankles and you're going to lift your body up so that all pressure's on your belly button. Breathing in, come up and hold. You can breathe normally when you do this one. It can be held for up to 30 seconds, which I find hard, so we won't do it for that long. But we'll do it 4 times. So coming down. And again, breathing in, come up. And you feel that pressure on the belly button. And coming down. Again, breathing in, come up. And coming down. And this posture is also good to help to build us up towards achieving the chakra asana, which we have a go at on sometimes Fridays and also on Sundays when we're doing difficult postures. So breathing in, come up and hold. Looking straight ahead. And coming down. Legs down, arms down by your body and head to the side, just relax. Now I'll teach you one of the more difficult postures that's good for the tummy. I think this one's called camel posture. So what we do is we put our hands into fists and we put that at the under our thighs. That's it. What we're going to do is, leaving the head on the floor, we lift the legs up at the back, and this strengthens the lower back. So lifting up and drop. And again, lifting up. Actually, I think this one's the locust posture. Check it out and tell you tomorrow. And dropping down. Now you'll feel this in the lower back, which is where the kidneys and the adrenal glands are existing. Wrists, fists under the thighs and lifting. And coming down. And again, lifting and holding. And bringing down. Again, relax your back. Breathing deeply in, any tension, any tightness in the body. Breathe light and warmth into that area. And as you exhale, feel any tensions leaving the body. And then turning on the side, knees up towards the chest, give yourself a bit of a morning hug. And coming up. I feel like I'm a little bit dark on the mat today. I'll just move this light a bit. That might be a bit better. Okay, so we'll try. Vrajasana is to sit between the knees. So you're sitting down, feet on either side, like this. Now, some people, if your knees aren't able to do that, don't attempt it. Uttara Vrajasana is to lie back with our hands go behind each shoulder. And this gives a really good stretch to the tummy. So I'll turn around on the mat. And if you're not able to do it with the feet, that's fine. Just lie with the legs out front and then crossing your hands over onto each shoulder like this. You stretch your tummy out that way. If you're able to put the knees on each side of the body, then leg on each side, come down onto, this one we just breathe normally, come down onto your elbows. If that's as far as you're able to go, that's also okay. Give your body a stretch like that. And if you're able to come all the way down and pop your hands behind your head and stretch the body out. And breathing normally, just allow the tummy and the thighs to fully stretch. And letting go. Allowing the legs to come through. Just twist the back a little, bringing your knees up and then over to the side, stretching your head in the opposite direction. Just stretch out your spine. And coming straight and to the other side, stretching the spine out. And coming up, twisting over, stretching the spine out. And again, other side, stretching out that spine and looking over your shoulder. Tap myself in properly. I think so. Yep. And coming up, down. And then in the same way that we did before with the hands under their hips, this time we're going to put the hands in fists instead of on top of the thighs. We're having them by the body. And now we're doing the opposite one, which is to lift the legs up and hold the legs as close to the floor as you can. And relax. We'll do that 4 times. Now again, what we're doing is we're putting pressure or strengthen the lower back and the adrenal glands. We're also strengthening and putting pressure on all of the abdomen. So again, lifting up and holding. And relax. And lifting up. And down. Relax. And lift up and hold. And relaxing down. Give yourself a moment, relaxing on the mat. And then we'll do Bhastrikasana, which is our bellows posture. Breathing out. As you breathe in, lift the left knee up. This is to help to take gas out of the body. Breathe out. Hold the knee against the chest. And breathe in. And breathe out. Knee to the chest. Breathing in. And hold. Breathe in. The headpiece is coming off. Throw that away. Breathe out, knee to chest and hold. We'll go through these 4 times. 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. And breathe out. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. And both knees up. Exhale and hold. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. Legs down. Exhale and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. And breathe. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe in. Exhale and hold. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Breathe in. And exhale and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe in. And both knees up onto the chest and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One knee, your left. Hold fully. 3, 4, 8. Breathe in. And exhale and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And exhale, both knees up and hold. Breathe in, and we'll go straight up into Dirga Pranam. On the way through, we'll also stop off and have of peacock. So this one is fantastic for digestion. It's very good. Put our elbows together. Our wrists will be on the ground. And on your knees, you're going to put your elbows onto the floor. Your wrists are right down between your feet. Let's see if I can show you that. So I'm sitting on. Now, I know some people also do it this way. I've never been able to do that. So I'm going, and then both my elbows are together and they're going to tuck in onto my belly button. So we have to push them onto the tummy and hands down on the ground. Okay, this is called peacock posture. And as I said, we'll just have a little go at, because it's very hard to do the whole thing. We can work on it on Sundays. Okay, but this is very good for the tummy. So you've got your elbows together and you're pushing them into your tummy and wrists on the ground. Put your head on the ground and legs just back. And if you're able, just lift up your knees, keep your head on the ground and balance your whole body weight onto your elbows. And hold. Now, if you're able, you can lift your head. And coming up. The full posture is to lift both your head and your feet, and you just balance on your hands with that full pressure on the tummy. Okay, you will have felt that, I think. It's a very good pressure on the stomach. Now we'll do Dirga Pranam. We'll do a little bit of that each day on Tuesdays. We'll do a little bit of peacock each Tuesday, and again we'll pick it up on the Sunday for the difficult postures until we're able to achieve the full peacock posture. Again, it doesn't come overnight. We have to do a little bit at a time, which is fine. Now we're going to do Dirga Pranam, which is one of the basic postures, sitting back on your feet. If you're able, putting your toes underneath. And if you're able to try up onto Rajasana, which means toes are curled underneath and arms above the head. Breathing in. As we breathe out, we go forward, down onto the mat and exhale fully. Breathe in, come up. And exhaling forward and down. Hold. Breathe in, come up. And forward and down. Hold. Breathing in, come up. This is another one we do for 8 counts. So forward, down, fully exhale onto the mat. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in, come up. And again, fully exhale, forward and down, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in, coming up. And again, exhale, forward and down, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. And again, breathing out. Forward, down, and hold. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathe in. Arms up and arms down. Beautiful. So we finished our yoga for today. Let us do our self-massage. Rubbing the hands together after the joints of the body, starting at the top of the head. And we massage through our scalp. And also as a way of reminding ourselves of how lucky we are to have this beautiful body that we have. Around the ears, pulling down on the ears, massaging into the ears, across the forehead, under the eyes, pushing into the bones, around the eyes, the nose, under the cheeks, and coming down under the chins with your thumbs, massaging under the jaw. And then coming down the neck, massaging through those glands on the side of the neck. Dropping, coming down into the shoulder, around the back, onto the shoulder blades, and coming around the front, through all the glands above the breast or chest, and then under the arms, around the side of the chest, and coming down under the arms, massaging the soft part of the underarm into the elbows and down into the wrists. So back to the emotions of the tummy. Stomach is called the igneous plexus in yoga psychology. The igneous plexus means the fire in the body. And you know that when you do have fever or kids are getting sick, the place where they most feel the heat of the body is the tummy. And if you do have children and they're getting a high temperature, what you can do is open up the stomach area and just pat that area with warm, cool water to help bring the body temperature down. A little bit more about, so the psychology of the stomach is to acquire. That's why we get hungry, because we get motivated. I'm hungry, I need to get some food. So to acquire, it also has the thing of holding on to. So that's what we do in the tummy. We hold the food as we take the nutrients out of it. And this creates a psychology in the mind for also ownership of and grasping hold of material goods. It's funny, actually, if you think about it. Like animals, some animals, they store their food for winter and so on, like squirrels and so on. And it's an interesting thing. And I've heard crocodiles, they've got a nest where they take their prey after they've drowned it and they leave it there in this kind of nest in the middle of the river. And they've got all these different, it's a bit gory, but that's where they keep their dead food, their meat. And lots of animals are like that, no? They, like you see with lions and things like that, after they've caught their prey, they'll drag it somewhere and then they'll hold on to it and then they'll eat it and so on. So it's interesting to think of us as rational animals and that we've developed, sorry about that light flickering, we've developed to the stage where we acquire things and hold things, not that we need to eat, but things that are good for our prestige. Maybe a bit like bowerbirds. I live in the forest, and so the bowerbirds around here, they acquire little bits of blue and stuff like that, and they build up their nest, and they have these little bits of color to, identify this is their nest and make it look really nice to attract the female bird. So it's interesting to see how our psychology has got to the stage where accumulation is one of our key interests, to accumulate wealth, to accumulate name and fame, prestige, or to accumulate objects. We always want to buy something more. It's so interesting. Okay, massaging. I think I don't know if it was always like that. if we always wanted to acquire more than we need, but maybe it's just part of capitalist, psychology. We're pushed all the time. If we own more and more, we'll be bigger and better people. So it's sort of, I think it might be a bit of just capitalist psychology that we're born into this idea of acquisition. Let me just see if that's the one that's flickering. Yes, it is. Okay, flickering light, you can go away. I think it's that one. Yes, that's better. Sorry, lack of light, but anyway. So now we massage the tummy. And we'll take our hands and we'll push into the belly button like that. And exhale. And breathe in. And then breathing out, exhale. The other big, strong emotion, as well as the one for greed or acquisition of the tummy, which again, it sounds so like, oh, we don't want to be greedy, but the truth is that our body psychology is to hold nutrients. We have to. It takes at least 3 hours to digest, and more than that. Particularly, I heard of some tribes in the Pacific Islands, or some groups of people, Polynesian particularly, when at the time of a woman becoming of age to be able to bear children, the idea is to really fatten her up, because during pregnancy, she's going to use we're going through the legs, she's going to use all of those nutrients during the pregnancy, and especially at the time of breastfeeding. Those of you who have had kids and you have fed them yourself, it's just like they suck everything out of you. You get exhausted. All the nutrients from the body is like, whew. I certainly remember that when I had Rashni. My teeth started breaking and oh my goodness. It's amazing what our bodies do, what they're capable of doing. So anyway, it's necessary at certain times to build the body up and to store fats and nutrients in the body so that we're able to then function biologically in ways that are needed later. And it's always a good thing to have a bit of fat on the body in case you get sick, because otherwise, if you don't eat for a few days, then you're going to waste away, which used to be a big fear back in the old days when people did get sick and they did start wasting away. So the tendency of that part of the body is to accumulate, to hold on to. And if there's too much holding on to, you'll get constipated. And if there's too much a sense of greed, and you do tend to snack between meals, not just physical greed, but psychic greed, compulsive overeating is often associated or connected with this sense of, I need more in my life. I'm not being given enough. Often that's a block to do with creativity. But the way that it manifests is this hunger that just keeps on all day long. And then the tendency is to snack and eat between meals, which then it creates gases in the body and constipation doing that. So solutions are to drink a lot and to start to regulate the habits. But if the emotions are strong, then all of these exercises that I've shown you are very good for helping to regulate that sense of insatiability, of wanting more and wanting more. Of course, that's part of human psychology. If we didn't want more in life, then we just all sit around and watch telly. But because we have a creative mind and a sense of longing, we are always striving to achieve greater and better things in our own lives. The desire to become a better person or to contribute more is always there. If we can channel it away from the food and away from material acquisition and more towards being of service and being creative and acquiring knowledge, rather, maybe, acquisition of knowledge and developing rationality and so on, then of course we're becoming better people over time, or acquiring wisdom, which is the way of the yogi, is to try to acquire, because the desire for acquisition won't go away. It will always be with us. It's part of our biological machine. It's just where we channel it. to acquire ice cream, to acquire a car, or to acquire wisdom, is just a different, it's the same feeling, but it's a different place to put the mind. Then the other thing that comes up in the tummy is fear. And fear comes up because once we do start acquiring things, we're afraid we're going to lose them. So some of the most frightened people in the world are those who have acquired a lot of wealth or a lot of fame and reputation, especially if it's a reputation based on transient things, like instead of based on integrity, it's based on bravado. What is it? Prestige. I was listening to Anthony Hopkins the other day, and he was saying, I mean, he's such a great actor in my mind, and he was saying, well, you know, if later on in life, before I leave the planet, somebody wants to give me a medal or a trophy for having done a good job as an actor, then I guess it's just their opinion. I'm just doing my acting. He never ever built himself up to be a great, amazing actor. He's just like, yeah, it's just my job. This is what I do. If other people think it's fabulous, that's good. I've done a good job. But it's not his aim to be, Mr. Glamour or whatever. He's so humble. And that kind of psychology, humility, means that his Manipura chakra is potentially very balanced. And then he'll never have the fear of what will people think about me? What happens if I lose my prestige? What happens if they don't like my acting? What happens if I don't win the trophy or whatever? So that is the fear that comes up in the Manipura chakra is always fear of losing something. And fear comes because we've put our mind into gaining something first of all. All of these feelings, fear, hatred, also comes up when you feel like you're going to lose something, then you hate the person or the thing that's going to take it from you. So everything to do with Manipura chakra has essentially a sense of acquiring or ownership first of all, and then from that all the other different emotions start to span out. So it's the part of the body. Anger also sits in here, and so does shame. And so on. Envy also sits in the Manipura chakra. So I hope that's of help to you. The thing is not to feel bad about it. It's just part of who we are. And then to find ways to, particularly Manipura chakra also controls creativity. So if all of those feelings, the longing, like the envy that somebody could build the pyramids, and then I want to build the pyramids too, to be able to channel it into creative and beautiful things like architecture or artistry, the fine arts, or knowledge, then the mind automatically lifts up into the Anahat chakra and the Vishuddha chakra, and we get an elevated feeling of ourself and our connection, a subtle feeling of ourself and our connection to our universe. Okay, lying down on the mat, putting your hands next to your body, and closing your eyes, we'll do a quick relaxation. Imagine you're in a beautiful place with nature all around you. As you breathe in, you breathe warmth and light, starting from your toes, coming up through your ankles, your knees, into your hips. You breathe that light and warmth from the universe through your legs. Any tightness or tension in the legs gets released with the external breath. Feeling your hips release and relax, the lower abdomen, moving up through the spine. Feel that warmth, relaxing the spine, coming up through the waist into your chest and your upper torso, releasing and relaxing all its tensions. Bringing your mind into your shoulders. Feel that light and warmth flooding down the arms into your hands. Allow your hands, your wrists, your arms and elbows to release and relax any tightness or tension onto the mat. Feel that warmth, that light flooding through your shoulders into your neck, coming up the back of the neck, into the base of the spine, the base of your skull, flooding through your jaw, your face, your mouth, nose, eyes, and forehead, flooding with light that runs round the hairline, down the backs of your ears. You feel your face and the back of your head filled with light and warmth as you release and relax onto the mat. So that from the tip of your toes to the top of your head, your body's feeling light, warm, relaxed. Any tightness in your body, any tightness in your mind is leaving with the external breath. And as you breathe in, you feel that love, that oneness, that peace of the universe flooding through your body, releasing any tensions and relaxing you completely. And then lifting your arms up above your head, breathing in deeply, stretching through from your fingers to your toes, yawning nicely. Very slowly and gently bring yourself up onto the mat, and we will meet again tomorrow to investigate the Anahat chakra, the heart, and all the feelings and the emotions of the heart, how to channel them towards becoming better and greater people, the best person we can possibly be. I'm Kate. If I can do it, you can do this. Let's get healthy and wealthy in the very best sense together. Namaskar. Thank you for joining me. See you tomorrow.